Hello, esports fans, and welcome here to this game of StarCraft that will be played out on Whirlwind. I will be your host today, Thaco, and we will have our two players on this map, and spawning in our upper right-hand position on Whirlwind, it will be our red Protoss player. It will be NinjaDuckBob. And now his opponent, spawning in the lower right-hand position as our blue Terran, it will be CrustyPrawn. Now this game was found on reddit.com/r/castit. So we will see what these players choose to do here. It looks like we're going to have CrustyPrawn just going for that nice standard wall off. Right down that ramp to his natural. Very basic move for the Terran player. Prevents any run-bys up into his main base. Allows him to turtle up into that a little bit more. And CrustyPrawn actually getting an incredibly early scout out here onto the map. This is suspicious. Is he actually just scouting here? Where is that set to? Yeah, he's just scouting here. Okay. He's tossing down his gateway behind this. Got that pylon up so he can continue building his workers. And for his part, CrustyPrawn has his barracks coming out. Nothing too unusual yet from either of these players. It was actually very lucky for NinjaDuckBob to get his opponent scouted in the first location. That's actually, because it's a 4-spawn map, your opponent can be in any one of the 4 corners, which is probably why NinjaDuckBob chose to, at this point, scout this early. And his scout's actually now trapped in this base, so eventually CrustyPrawn will have to kill it, but it looks like NinjaDuckBob actually got himself a worker kill before he loses his probe, which is actually pretty awesome. That doesn't happen very often. Usually if your scout gets caught in your opponent's base, it's going to get killed, and you're not going to pick up any kills off of your scout. But this has been a pretty efficient little, even harassment unit, as I think he tried to do some damage to the guys on the wall off. And the barracks is finished up, so a Marine will be out shortly to kill off that probe. And CrustyPrawn is going to get his scout out now, but he's going to go up through the Xel'Naga and actually scout cross spawns first. So he will not know where his opponent is, and then have a tough decision to make in a moment. NinjaDuckBob finished up the gateway. It's a little supply blocked. Haven't quite fixed that one yet, so Zealot's not going to be timely, but he's just getting out the cybernetics core, keeping his tech going. I think he's down here in this base trying to keep his probe alive right now. And the pylon is on the way, so that supply block will be fixed shortly. We see that CrustyPrawn's got an orbital command on the way, wants to get those mules, get those scans, and as well, he has tossed down his command center at his second command center at his natural expansion point, and made a good read and is sending his scout to the upper right-hand position, second scout location, and we'll get a full read on what his opponent is doing. The only thing that should be up there to greet him is a Zealot, and I believe the SCV should be able to outmaneuver the Zealot and stay alive long enough to get a full scout. He does see that the natural expansion is on the way for NinjaDuckBob, and he sees everything. He just sees everything. There's a Stalker now being chrono boosted out. The Zealot is positioned down at the natural, and CrustyPrawn decides to go for a bunker just to protect his natural. Just doesn't want to fall to any shenanigans early on. And he's going to pull his scout out and bring it back home so he can continue mining back home. Getting that second gas geyser on the way, getting that factory as well as that reactor. I believe this means he will switch the two and go for Hellions or take it all the way up into Hellbats. It might just be for Widow Mines, but I think he wants to get something 2 at a time out of that factory. Most likely Hellions. The robotics facility is finishing up here for NinjaDuckBob, and he has tossed down 2 additional gateways, so he'll be up to 3 gateways and a robotics facility off of his 1 base at the moment. It's a very maintainable is not a word, sustainable build. Doesn't have too much production, he's not going to outproduce himself. He's going to get those Immortals out. And we do, in fact, see that Hellbats will be the choice here from CrustyPrawn, as he has that starport on the way as well as the armory. He will be going for Hellbat drops out across the map. Oh, that's always exciting. It's either going to do they're exciting because, for a while they can just do absolutely nothing. If your opponent gets a good scout on it, a good read, has the defense, they'll get shut down hard. But then that one drop gets through and kills an entire worker line. Then all of a sudden it was worth it. So it just depends on how persistent will a CrustyPrawn be with these drops. Does he keep going with them, or does after the first one or two fail, does he stop? And then, really also, how defensive can NinjaDuckBob be against them? Is he going to be can he effectively shut them down? Can he effectively continue to pull the defense? Or, as we see happening, is he going to advance out across the map? Does he have that Immortal out now? Does he have the Stalkers? Does he feel like he can do something? And he sees the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines start to fall. The Widow Mines fall. Oh, he's got to kill those Widow Mines before they can burrow. The Widow Mines do fall. And he's out across the map, but CrustyPrawn is not going to defend his base against that. He's going to go straight up into the drops. The drop coming into the natural expansion's worker line. And the first probes do start to fall. And the probes are not being pulled. A lot of probes fall there. But that's also because NinjaDuckBob has assaulted this base, has taken down that bunker. But there are Widow Mines, or Hellbats here. The Hellbats not so effective against the Stalkers who can micro back. They do have longer range. Both the Hellbats do fall. The natural expansion is no longer mining for either player. And, NinjaDuckBob with the defense should be able to take this out, especially if he micros back those Stalkers. But the first Stalker falls. The first Hellbat will stay alive thanks to that medevac. There is an Immortal out on the way, and that will be what NinjaDuckBob chooses to defend his base with 3 more Stalkers being morphed in. That command center is in full retreat. These supply depots are in jeopardy. There are 2 Widow Mines burrowed right there that will do massive damage to any force that tries to push up into the main base. NinjaDuckBob is going to have to defend his main worker line, though. He pulls that back, losing a few drones there at this point. But he is now starting to stabilize in this defense. Does he have anything researching out of that? No, he does not. He does not have anything in production. CrustyPrawn is starting to fall here. He's getting more Widow Mines out all the time. The first Widow Mine goes off on the Immortal. The second Widow Mine will go off on the Immortal if he continues to advance up this. He's going to try to bait out the last 2 with a Stalker. Gets one of them. He's going to have to bait out the third. He does not know about the third Widow Mine. The third Widow Mine will hit absolutely everything, taking off a lot of those shields. There's nothing in those medevacs. Don't shoot at those medevacs. Take out the supply depots. You're going to have to advance up into these. And these Stalkers have effectively pushed that drop back. He was chasing down the chasing down the medevacs, hoping that he could take them down. But at this point, the Widow Mines are just burrowing on top of that ramp, and they're killing absolutely everything. And what is he producing out of that robotic facility? More Immortals. He needs an observer. This Stalker will fall momentarily if it tries to push up the ramp. It should not do that. And it will not. It will stabilize. Both players will continue to tech up from this point, try to retake those natural expansions. NinjaDuckBob trying to resaturate it. What was the cost of those engagements? CrustyPrawn killing off 18 workers, 19 workers. He dropped the main again. But it was pushed back. Okay. He will get more kills down here at the natural expansion. Can NinjaDuckBob pull these back into good timing? He's going to lose more workers. He loses 2, 3. It looks like he might. No, he saved the 4th because they worked the Hellbats auto-attack things that are attacking them. He did lose more because the Hellbats were in the worker line. They did spray damage onto those workers. More Hellbats are being produced. These Hellbats have been efficient. 23 workers were killed off by those Hellbats. Believe there's only 1 drop there too. That was an incredibly efficient Hellbat drop. That was painful. You never want to see that kind of loss. Well, I mean, unless you're CrustyPrawn right now, then that kind of loss was actually amazing for him. He just did great damage there. He's now tossing down those double engineering baits. He will be backing this up with a heavy bio play. Getting out those Marines. Getting out those Marauders. I'm going to go for a Marine Marauder Hellbat transit play. He does have the armory down. He should probably get, he does have on the way +1 mechanical vehicle weapons for his Hellbats. But CrustyPrawn is going to have to defend against this secondary push from NinjaDuckBob. NinjaDuckBob now has 2 Immortals. He has the Observer. He has the Stalkers. Oh, and CrustyPrawn is taking a 3rd base. That's going to spread him kind of thin, especially if NinjaDuckBob can take out those Widow Mines before they do massive damage to him. This force is not quite ideal. Ooh, that Widow Mine getting a good connection, taking out 1 of the Stalkers, damaging a lot of the shields on the rest of them, and the Widow Mine does fall. He's going to have to be very careful as there are Widow Mines sprinkled all across this. He's going to have to either bait them out or focus fire them down. He just tries to do both, but does not work out for him. As they engage with those Hellbats, there's a scan going down. The Observer gets picked off. He can no longer see these Widow Mines. All three of the Widow Mines on the low ground have now fired. He cannot see pick off that last one as these Marauders deal massive amounts of damage to these Stalkers. They also now have concussive shells, so the Zealots are not incredibly effective against them as they're going to have a hard time getting into range. But if that Widow Mine gets off cooldown, it will deal massive amounts of damage back to the armies. And there is another Hellbat drop moving up across the map that is going to hit the worker lines of NinjaDuckBob. NinjaDuckBob does get a good pullback against those. CrustyPrawn is in a good position right now. Oh, that Widow Mine did great amounts of damage to take out all the shields on that Immortal. He does not have an Observer here. He is going for the Dark Shrine behind this, though. But will it get scouted? Where is the Dark Shrine? Oh, the Dark Shrine is scouted. The question is, though, CrustyPrawn knows the Dark Shrine is down. Did CrustyPrawn click on the Dark Shrine to know it was down? That is the only saving grace of that Dark Shrine right now. That CrustyPrawn might not actually know it was down. And how many more did he get? He got 31 worker kills. Now, I believe he was on 23 after that last drop. These Hellbat drops are just doing so much damage. And NinjaDuckBob, without the observation, can't take out all of these Widow Mines. These Widow Mines are just devastating right now. Especially this third base has been established. It's now operating against the natural for CrustyPrawn in the bottom center of the map. And CrustyPrawn is starting to get his upgrades going. He's getting that plus combat shields on the way, which is a plus 10 health to your Marines. And that is going to go into addition to the plus 1 infantry weapons, as well as the plus 1 infantry armor and stim packs for his melee bio units. NinjaDuckBob is putting a lot of effort into this Dark Shrine. He does not have a proxied pylon out. Oh, nope, getting the Warp Prism. Gonna go for Dark Templar drops in this game. It could be very effective. It could also just be full-on scouted by this next drop going up, or this drop may stay in position along that right-hand side and see it. But before he gets those first groups of Dark Templar into play, he is going to morph in a couple of Archons, as Archons from Dark Templar are actually the cheapest and most efficient way to get those early on in the game. A little cheaper than the High Templar. Both drops are going to just barely miss each other along that side there. Let's see what NinjaDuckBob can get done with these DTs. This is actually out of range of everything. He will be able to get these in without the Warp Prism being spotted. I don't believe there's a missile turret in the main. So he will be able to see the Dark Templar. Just morphing in too. Doesn't want to be too over-ambitious right now. As these try to sneak down into the base, they're going to get the very edge of the worker line before they're... Nope, full-on scouted. He knows they're there. Second one is going to try to run down to the natural. Gets past that Widow Mine. There is no detection there, but there's a Hellbat drop in the main. There are cannons there defending that now. One worker got killed. Only one worker was killed. As NinjaDuckBob... Oh, he's got scanned. He's going to... Nope, Widow Mine. Widow Mine killed him. One in the main base got killed too. But the Warp Prism is still there. If those armies ever move out, that Warp Prism is going to call down more DTs and just absolutely wreck the armies of, or the worker lines of CrustyPrawn, who for a moment there, for a brief moment, went for the Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade for his Hellbats, but then canceled it, and is getting out siege tanks now. As we also see the plus 2 infantry weapons and armor upgrades on the way for CrustyPrawn. Zealot Charge on the way for NinjaDuckBob. NinjaDuckBob looking at a little bit of that Zealot Archon style play, which we saw so powerfully demonstrated at DreamHack by Stardust. And taking that third expansion out a little later than the Terran, but that is okay. Both players have had very low economy in this game because drops and worker harassment have been so effective. Did he just mass transfer all of the... No, that initial DT run by of NinjaDuckBob was actually just incredibly effective and killed off a lot of guys in the main base. Neither player having very many workers, but this is what is going to have to be dealt with. This is going to be a tough play, as this is just a composition drop, high composition. Some Hellbats in there, some Marauders in there, some Marines in there. They're going to drop and they're going to take out this third base, which should be canceled by NinjaDuckBob. No cancel, it got killed off. That's a loss of 400 minerals. That hurts a little bit, especially in this lower econ game. We see ship weapons being upgraded for CrustyPrawn. Gonna go for the gateways. He wants to take out his opponent's ability to produce units, skipping those workers, especially because the workers are protected by those two cannons. The first gateway falls. Looks like a second gateway will fall here. The armies of NinjaDuckBob are now here, but those zealots can't quite get into combat. The main nexus does fall. Oh no, NinjaDuckBob is down to only one nexus, and he leaves this Hellbat alive. This Hellbat is still in his main base. This Hellbat can still do things. The DT was harassing the main base of CrustyPrawn. It got scanned and cleaned up nicely. Maybe 4 more workers were killed off there by NinjaDuckBob. Not the worst loss right now. This huge Marauder force is on the ground, though. More DTs are in the main base of CrustyPrawn, killing off all of those supply depots. Where's the detection there? Oh, it was the Zealot was what he was able to see, which allowed him to fire onto the Dark Templar. And we see now that the army of NinjaDuckBob is actually thundering down towards the base of CrustyPrawn. But those Marauders will sandwich it in there, and those Widowmites have done massive hits across everything's shields. That first Immortal falls, but the second one will be able to take out the final Marauders, as the Stalkers and Dark Templars do start raining down destruction, but those Widowmites are actually doing a lot of work. Zealots down here do take out the refinery, and they will prevent any mining down here. Dark Templar are just everywhere, and there is not enough detection here for CrustyPrawn, as additional Dark Templar, those are Zealots. More Zealots are morphed in across the top. With that charge ability, they will just get right into combat and hack and slash everything to tiny little pieces. At this point, I must believe that the final hope of CrustyPrawn is this third base that he has over here that I believe is still hidden and has not yet been seen. It has not. NinjaDuckBob has no idea it's there. Those Widowmites getting additional hits, taking out even more shields, but there is just almost nothing left at this point for CrustyPrawn. He does not save enough workers to transfer over and continue mining. His production facilities are now under siege, and there are even more Dark Templar running down into this map as 5 more get warped in from that warp prism that was never scouted and was just the utter bane of CrustyPrawn this game. He had great dealings with those Dark Templar earlier on, but eventually they just overran him. And now NinjaDuckBob is everywhere in the base of CrustyPrawn. There is nothing left here for CrustyPrawn, and there he goes and leaves the game because he had nothing left. It was a fantastic game from NinjaDuckBob. He held on through those drops perfectly and then did eventually push through and destroy CrustyPrawn through that Dark Templar harass. So congratulations to NinjaDuckBob on that win. It was a very exciting game, and I hope you will all join me for additional games of StarCraft in the future. Thank you. Goodbye.